Tutorial time! Hey guys, today I'm going to show you how we made the Dirk the Daring puppet out of foam latex. So how did I start? Number one, I gathered reference material. There's a ton of great model sheets online, and I just grabbed one of those and I'm going to use that for my sculpting reference. Two, I scaled the drawing to about 9 inches tall. It's a good size for a puppet. Three, next up is building an armature. It doesn't have to be super engineered or anything fancy. It just has to be able to support the clay and be proportional. Four, I get my clay. I have sculpted with Van Aken, with Super Sculpey, with Monster Maker's clay. Five, I start blocking in some shapes. A little tip is you use aluminum foil and you can save some clay. For some of the larger, chunkier areas, you can ball up some aluminum foil and take up some of that space to keep it lighter and also save clay. So now that the body is somewhat blocked out, I know I'm going to be using replacement faces later, and since Dirk has a helmet and also a face cloth line, I just cut it right off. Number 7, I finished the body sculpt and now I'm ready to mold. Number 8, now that we're moving into molding, we lay our sculpt down and we build up a wall of water-based clay halfway up the puppet. This is going to be our seam line. Number 9, I'll be molding with Ultracal, and I mix it up and I paint on a really thin layer, which is to make sure you get into all the cracks and details so there's no air bubbles. Number 10. After that thin layer dries, you progressively start adding more and more, which gets thicker and thicker. And as it gets thicker, you cut little squares of burlap, which you actually mix in, which will strengthen your mold in the end. Number 11. This continues till you get to the very thickest layer, and this is when you really get to mix it up and make some real cement-looking stuff. And you dump that on there, and you let it dry for a day. Number 12, you flip over your sculpture and you're going to notice some damage. It happens every time I've ever made a character. You do some minor resculpting, clean it up, and then you're going to coat your mold, the hardened mold side, with Vaseline. This is going to keep it from sticking together and trapping your puppet forever inside. 13, repeat the process from thin Ultracal layers all the way to the thicker burlapped ones, just like you did on the first side. 14, now you got to make an armature. Me and Shell make all of our armatures out of aluminum, and we build them right inside so they fit perfectly inside the mold. We'll build 3 at a time because building 3 is just slightly more time than building 1, so it's way more efficient. 15. After fitting your armatures inside the mold, it's on to foam latex mixing. 16. Foam latex is such a cool, flexible, repairable material, but it is total witchcraft, and Shell is an expert. She has all the understanding of the chemicals, the relationships between weather and humidity, and every time she does it, she gets a good pull out of the oven. 17. After mixing the foam and releasing the mold, we paint in all the cracks and nooks of the character, and then it becomes a big sandwich which we squish together, wrap it up, and get ready to cook. Number 18, you pray to the puppet gods, because it's going to take about 8 hours for your puppet to cook, but after it does, you open up the oven, crack open your mold, and you pull out your puppet pancake. 19, now Shell will cut off all the flashing of the puppet, which is kind of the bat wing sections between where the arms and legs were, and she'll wash it all up and hang it up to dry. Number 20, so now we have a seam along the puppet that needs repairing with possible holes or divots or smoothing out, and Shell will take a material called Cabasil and Prozaid and mix it together to make a really smooth seam so you can't tell where it came out of the mold. 21, Shell will now pick out all the acrylic paint that match the character's design, which we have from the model sheets, and she will mix it with Prozaid, which will make the paint flexible so it doesn't crack as the puppet's moving and bending all over the place. So paint, paint, paint. There's a lot of drying time in between each layer of paint or color that you're working on. So what Shell will do, again, because we make 3 at a time, is you shuffle. You paint one, you let the other one dry. You paint one, you let the other one dry. So it's way more efficient, again, to make 3 instead of 1. After the painting's done, you powder it, and then you got a puppet that won't stick to itself as you animate. Number 24, facial. Anytime you're designing a new puppet, you're going to want to know how they express themselves. Are they going to speak? How are they going to emote? Are they going to have hinged jaw, or are they going to have sticker mouths? Dirk was going to have replacement faces. I wasn't going to have him speak so much as just have expressive moods. So that was my choice, and I was going to start sculpting them. I have a whole facial lineup now, so it's time to mold them. I'm going to cast them in resin, so it's a really strong material that will also sticky wax onto the puppet really easily. So now's the fun part, my favorite part, which is animation. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll be doing plenty of new tutorials as the months coming on. And if you happen to have missed the last episode, it was about where the genesis of the idea to make this puppet came from, and also a bunch of the animation that I did with it. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to answer them, as well as answer them in future Q&A videos. So like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.